What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today, ETH USD. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, okay? It is the 19th day of February, and here we are sitting at about $1,900 with roughly 9 hours, 50 minutes left in the day. I want to do something. I just had a thought come to mind, and I want to do something real quick and just see what the results are. We're going to get into the Ethereum analysis here, but I do want to look at something real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all the indicators that I have because I don't need them. I just want, nope, I want the correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient. And I'm going to have this set to the others chart and apply. Right, this is Solana to the others chart. And then I'm going to have Ethereum set to the others chart. No. Correlation coefficient. And then we're going to see which one's more correlated. What this will tell us is whenever it comes to altcoins, who matters more? For a long time and for a while, it's been Ethereum. And Ethereum's been the one that I think most of us would associate with the Mac Daddy, the one that matters. But let's look at these on a monthly time frame. I mean, you look at this. Check this out, you guys. Isn't this kind of wild? Solana has more in correlation. Notice when the correlation started to go up, right? A 1 is a direct correlation. 0 is not really correlated. Negative is there's an inverse correlation. So something moves up, the other thing moves down. Something moves down, the other thing moves up. This is like you're moving hand in hand together. Ever since this dump, Ethereum has really been decorrelating from the rest of the markets. It's kind of interesting. So what I'm seeing and thus saying by this is if you want an idea as far as what altcoins are going to look like, this chart might be more appropriate to pay attention to. But nonetheless, let's look at the Ethereum chart. That's the main thing that I want to talk about today. What's good for Ethereum is typically good for altcoins as well, but it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that altcoins, what we just saw there, what we just proved right now, and I mean, really, since 2021, altcoins have been following Solana, not Ethereum. It's interesting. Though, in all fairness, we look at this here, you look at this here for Ethereum, it more or less looks the same, right? So maybe they're following each other, but I digress. Let's get to the TA. Just a little food for thought there, a little fun stuff, right? Little something different that maybe you won't find on the average plane of thought. Ethereum here, $1,930 right now. Because, and the reason why I think it's important is because we as human beings, we hear things and then we run with it as if it's fact. Everybody, especially whenever it's like a bird box, everybody's saying the same thing. I heard this. Oh, I heard this too. Did you guys hear this too? We're all so smart for hearing this, and now we all agree that this is fact. That's not how it is. That's how politics happen. That's how the Salem witch trials happened and innocent people died, right? Like it's not a conducive, a proper way of thinking about knowledge and information. Hold on. Anyways, you'll hear a lot of people say altcoins follow Ethereum, but really what we just did, and again we verified, is not that altcoins don't follow Ethereum. They do, but they follow Solana more. So next time you hear somebody say that altcoins follow Ethereum, maybe you should answer that or think in your own head, you should think that's true, but they follow Solana more. So what is Solana doing? It's great that Ethereum looks a certain way, but what about Solana? Anyways, I'm done with that whole thought. Let's move on. $1,900 here, 9 hours 44 minutes left in the day. Looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, not a lot of volume picking up. Let's put you on Binance. A little bit more volume, but nothing too crazy. I mean, you're in fake out territory here. You absolutely are. I mean, it's Trap City, right? You're consolidating. As soon as you break out, you move up. That's the worst place to buy, right? Here, as soon as you got a lower low, that's the worst place to sell. That's right. Here you've got this high. As soon as you get above that high, it's the worst time to buy. It's funny. Here, once you get the higher high, boom. Once you get the lower low here, boom. You know, it might be the same thing. Why not? 1 hour RSI, oversold. It's bearish, but you're coming back up. That's nice, whatever. Stochastics are reset, and the MACD looks bearish as well. Could you go lower? Sure, but I really wouldn't be surprised if we found a little bit of volatility right here. Let's see. low to high. Just by the way the fibs look, I would say it wouldn't surprise me if we went down to the golden ratio. We could even go as low as like the 786, 886, maybe down to 1830 to 1790. And that might be the call to make. We'll see. But I would at least call for 1890 to 1860. But I'm calling 1830 to 1790 is also something we should consider. Okay. Do any extensions line up at these levels? Your golden ratios at the base there, that 1 for 1 for, it's looking pretty good. You could go down below $1,800 or at least around there. Doesn't mean that you will. It's not the call yet, but maybe it is. Maybe it is the call. Yeah, I think it is the call. That RSI makes me think so. The stochastics make me think so. And the MACD does as well. So I take it back. I mean, maybe yes, this is a slightly lower low fake out, but I don't think this means we're ripping through the roof. Maybe we come up a little bit here, but we're probably going to move down still. You know what I mean? It's just like here, we had a slightly lower low, we moved up, but we still moved down. It's the same kind of concept. And we probably do at least move down to 1890 to 1860, but I'm thinking we move down somewhere around 1,820 to 1,780, 1,790, something in that area. Probably just below 1,800, if not lower. It is possible, and this is something I haven't actually thought about. I probably should have considered this. It's completely possible that we see a lower low. That's not the call for Ethereum right now, but it could be. It really could be. On that note, what does this? Where did we find resistance here? In an obscure kind of area. I mean, yeah, to be completely fair, with this look on the fibs, it's certainly possible that we could see a lower low. Where do we go here? If we were to see a lower low, it would be at 1,686 to 1,473. That would be an overall drop on a percentage basis. Anything from about 13% to at the most 23%, something like that. 13 to 23% of a drop. If Ethereum drops 13 to 23%, altcoins probably drop more than that. Oof. Oof. They might drop about the same. They have been dropping tit for tat. Prior cycles, if Ethereum dropped 5%, altcoins dropped 10%. But this cycle, it's not quite that like that because we don't have overinflated prices. I mean, maybe we do still technically, but not euphoric, crazy overinflation. Anyways, none of that is me saying that we will see a lower low. I'm still not completely convinced that we do see a lower low, but I'm accepting of it. And the lowest price that we would see if we were to go lower would be 1473. I personally doubt we get below 1500, but it is possible. Something we should consider at least. And that would probably happen between now and the end of the month if we were to see it at all. Again, saying that does not mean we do go lower. I'm not necessarily saying that we do go lower. I'm very accepting of that as a possibility. Right now, what I'm focused on, what I'm considering most heavily is something in this range with a very specific focus on 1827 to 1789 here, 1830 to 1790. Okay. Daily time frame, RSI still looks bearish. Stochastics are at a point to reject at the 50 here, and the MACD, it doesn't look good. Nothing really to go off of on the MACD. Weekly time frame here. I'm working on this theory with Ethereum, guys, and it's not a good theory. I don't know. It's not. I don't have it completely prepared yet. But it's not a good theory. And it goes something like this. Okay, I'll give you a hint. This is something I've actually been like working on mentally and writing notes on for about a month now. Maybe about 2 weeks. Here's the thought. Okay, here's the thought. Just in a very short and kind of simple way, because I don't want to get into it. I don't want to be too world-shattering, scary here. Okay, but you'll get the gist of what this theory is about. Okay, so here's Ethereum. Here's whenever it existed, right? August 2015. Here's where it is now. Ethereum, my friends, up to this month has existed for 126 months. Maybe it existed as a concept before. Maybe this isn't the exact beginning day, but I don't care if it was a year earlier than that, whatever. It's still somewhere around this time, okay? 126 months. It's a long time for most cryptos. It's a very long time. In that time, where are we? In that time, Ethereum has been in this box. Notice where I drew the box to, okay? Because I'm counting it all. I'm not just going to count, we'll even move it out over here. I'm not just going to count from the time that we hit a high. I'm talking about since we've been in this price zone, okay, this price area. Ethereum's existed for 126 months on this chart. And out of that 126 months, 61 months has been up here. Basically, half of Ethereum's life has been in what looks like a distribution phase, which, by the way, finished itself with a proper double top on a macro scale. I'm going to stop it there. If you know charts, if you know anything about this, right, stuff like this, that's scary shit right there. We're going to stop it there. I have more to work on. I want you guys to understand what's being implied by this. Okay, this is bad. Like Ethereum below $500 bad. You know, I'm not saying that will happen. I'm not saying that will happen. We could be not in a distributive phase, but maybe just a consolidation phase, a horizontal channel. Maybe it's not like this at all. We're moving up here. We've got these higher lows. You know, maybe we're in an ascending triangle. Like there's all kinds of bullish ways to spin this, but the double top scares me a little bit for the long term, the macro, and then just putting it in this perspective. 126 months of life, and for half of that life, let's fast forward 6 months from now to where it is half that life. You're probably still going to be in this price range, right? For half your life, you've been up here at the highest realm. It's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. I don't know, man. Let's get into the short-term stuff. We rejected the overbought. Dude, like guys, the RSI does not look good. See, like the RSI, for example, on the monthly time frame. Some people are looking at this thinking, oh, look, it's at the bear market lows. That means Ethereum's at its lows. Maybe it is. And honestly, maybe that's a bearish, that's not good. That's just not a good look, man. Like if this was on the 1 hour time frame, I'd say, oh, yeah, we're going to the oversold zone. But it's not. It's the monthly time frame. If this was the 4 hour, the daily time frame, it's the monthly time frame. I would say the same thing. We're probably going to the oversold zone, but what does that mean, you guys? Have you paid attention to any of the videos that I've really been emphasizing this point for the past few months? What does it mean when you get overbought and oversold? It typically results in the break of a range. Would it be the break of this range, or would it be the break of this overall range getting oversold in the monthly RSI? Because again, if this was any time frame on any chart, I'd have no problem here saying, oh yeah, this RSI is going to the oversold zone. The only reason I have a problem with it is it's the monthly time frame on Ethereum. But if I saw this RSI anywhere else, it wouldn't even take a thought. Yeah, we're going to the oversold zone, and that typically results in a breakout. Again, when you got overbought here, notice what happens. Okay, you're in this range here, right? Maybe even in this overall range here, whatever. When you got overbought, that's when the breakout happened. You started moving up well before then, but that's when the breakout was associated, right? That's when the fastest part of that rally happened. Anyways, I'm not trying to give you a history lesson. I want to go over the short-term stuff. I'm not trying to leave you with nightmares too. But again, going back to that original thought, right? Just things to piece together, right? Weird and interesting to say the least. Daily RSI, not a fan. Stochastics right at a point to find resistance. Daily MACD doesn't look the best. Ethereum here looking kind of like Bitcoin from a low to a high. I do expect we go lower. I'm not under the impression that we see a lower low entirely, but something around 1800, maybe just below 1800, if not 1680 to 1465. I've got nothing else. Hit that like button, subscribe. I do assume that from here, ending on a positive note, whether we see a slightly lower low or we hold a higher low, whatever it is, from here we probably do recover and move up and interact with these prior areas of support for resistance. If not more, we could see more. Time will tell. We'll see. Again, there are positive things to consider. We are at the bear market low points in our RSI. Might it be a good time to bounce? We have reset on the stochastics. I mean, typically we don't bounce here. We actually get more oversold. This really paints the picture that we are going to get oversold on the monthly RSI. The MACD just crossed red. Typically that thing doesn't cross red for 2 months and then flips green. You know, typically we bleed out a little bit more, but still, there's some evidence that we could be finding support here, and if not here, very, very close to here, and continue to move up in what is an overall ascending triangle. This is still a positive structure too. So don't get over. There's a reason why I've sat on this kind of thought for 2 weeks. I'm working on it. I don't want to scare people too much, but nonetheless, there's enough evidence in the charts where these are some things that if you haven't considered, maybe start considering, or at least be aware of. Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.